Now, most Easter eggs are usually meant to make you say,
I understood that reference.
However, sometimes video game Easter eggs can be much more than that, and they can take you right back to being a kid again. In today's video, we're taking a look at 10 video game Easter eggs that hit you right in the nostalgia. As always, leaving a like on the video really does mean a lot, and if you are a fan of Easter eggs in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. No, not that one, this one.
I am Cornholio! I need tippy for my bunghole!
Now, if ever there was a series that shows just how much the games industry has changed, it's Call of Duty. What began as polished and gritty first-person shooter campaigns set during World War II eventually morphed into whatever the hell this is. Well, it appears that some of the Call of Duty devs haven't forgotten the epic campaign moments of years gone by. On the Rust multiplayer map in Modern Warfare 3, you can find this. So this skull with a knife buried inside of it isn't just a random skull with a knife buried inside of it. You see, this skull actually references this scene from Modern Warfare 2's campaign. If you've ever played the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, and I'm guessing that you have if you're watching this video, then you will remember how satisfying it was to finally shut Shepard up. So finding this Easter egg hit me right in the feels. Now, there was once a time when two of the biggest game series around were stealth games. Both Splinter Cell and Metal Gear Solid were riding high in the early 2000s, and the main characters, Sam Fisher and Solid Snake, were household names. Okay, so your mum might not have heard of them, but you probably had. Here's the thing, it's hard to monetize single-player games where you have to keep quiet. So the last Splinter Cell game that we got was 2013's Blacklist, and the last Metal Gear game that we got that wasn't a remake or a remaster was Metal Gear Survive, and the less said about that, the better. I mean, Ubisoft did add Sam Fisher to Ghost Recon Wildlands, and despite not being a very good mission, it did trigger some nostalgia.
The original Billy Badass himself, Sam Fisher, is in the cruise.
At the end of the mission, this cutscene will play out.
Like you've clocked some miles since we last spoke.
Yeah, a few. I've heard they don't make them like me anymore. There was this other guy, though. Army infiltration. He wore a bandana or something.
I heard he finally retired.
Really?
Yep.
It's only me.
So Sam says that there was another stealth guy who used to wear a bandana. After being told that he's now retired, Sam looks genuinely upset. Of course, the man with the bandana is Solid Snake, who will be appearing in a game this year thanks to the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. But when Sam is next going to appear on our screens in his own game, who knows? Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I didn't actually complete that many games. Usually I would reach a point where I got stuck and didn't know where to go next. Without access to the internet, I would usually bang my head against a brick wall for 3 hours and then reluctantly move on. I mean, some games were so hard that I didn't even make it past the first level. And that was the case with Driver on the PlayStation 1. You see, to begin the game, you need to demonstrate that you can drive a car. This means pulling off 360 spins, handbrake turns and more. Being around 7 years old when I played Driver, I didn't know what a slalom was. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure I misread it as salmon. Anyway, all of that is to say that the tutorial of Driver was really hard. Fast forward 12 years later and Driver San Francisco was released, and thankfully didn't require me to perform a salmon to play it. Or at least I thought it didn't. If you hit 88 miles per hour when driving the DMC DeLorean, which is of course a reference to Back to the Future, you will unlock the Blast from the Past challenge, where you once again find yourself in a car park. I mean, this is a really cool reference to that infamously hard Driver 1 tutorial. Oh, and just to exercise the demons of yesteryear, I did finally complete the tutorial in Driver 1, which made my inner child very happy. Now, we all have a favourite console. It might be the first console you ever owned, the first console you bought with your own money, or it might just be the console that you like the look of. Nowadays, when a new console releases, nothing really changes. For the most part, the menus are the same and the only real improvements are under the hood, which in my opinion takes away a lot of the fun of getting a new console. I mean, you only have to look back at the GameCube for how much things used to change between console generations. Gone were the days of blowing on cards. Now you had tiny discs to play, and you even had a console menu to mess around with before getting into a game. Well, thanks to the power of the Nintendo Switch 2, we can now play GameCube games again thanks to the GameCube emulator. Booting up the emulator and it feels very 2025. As in, it's very boring. Well, if you yearn for the good old days, you can hold the left thumbstick in any direction as the emulator boots, and this will happen. So it's the classic GameCube boot screen, only this time on the Switch 2. You can also trigger one of these secret boot up sounds by again holding the left thumbstick and then tapping the right bumper as the emulator loads. I mean, personally, I miss it when my console had a personality. Now, despite being negative about modern gaming pretty much throughout this entire video, the ability for developers to add new content to games months, sometimes even years after launch, is really cool. A game that has taken full advantage of this option is Cyberpunk 2077, which has been receiving regular updates since its release back in 2020. Okay, granted, a lot of those updates were to fix the game's notoriously buggy launch, but there have been plenty of updates that added new things to Night City, and one of those updates even added a whole new game to the game. At this location on the map, which isn't somewhere you'll find yourself travelling to often, you can find an arcade cabinet that wasn't in the game when it released, and the game that you can play may seem familiar. So Arasaka Tower 3D is a game based on Johnny Silverhand's ill-fated raid on Arasaka Tower. It's also a Doom clone inside of Cyberpunk 2077, which is really cool. Of course, there are other arcade games to play in Cyberpunk, but this Doom clone is probably my favourite. Now, not all Easter eggs trigger nostalgia in a good way. Sometimes they remind you of something that you would rather forget. Take the 2024 Silent Hill 2 remake, for example, which is not to be confused with the 2012 Silent Hill HD Collection. You see, the HD Collection was a bit of a letdown. Technically, it was a mess with missing fog, texture popping, broken animations, and more. But perhaps the most egregious difference between the HD Collection and the original Silent Hill 2 was a simple sign. In the HD Collection, the sign for the Silent Hill Ranch was written in Comic Sans. And I don't know about you, but when I think of creepy towns with strange monsters, I don't think of Comic Sans. Well, it seems that the developers of the Silent Hill 2 remake agreed, as when you walk past the ranch in that game, the sign is written in a standard looking font. But that does raise the question, what happened to the Comic Sans sign? Well, using a FreeCam mod, you can take a look inside the nearby barn to find the sign hanging its head in shame, just like it should. Now, there are certain video game missions that stick with players for years to come. And I'm guessing that I only need to mention Call of Duty 4 to make you think of one mission in particular. The All Gillied Up mission is loved by fans of the series, but I'm not sure why. To me, it's nothing but a glorified tailing mission, where if you try to do anything that the game doesn't want you to, you die. I mean, I get that it's tense, but try playing it again today and tell me what you think. Still, I know a lot of people love the mission, and the iconic sniper shot that happens shortly after. Well, in Stalker 2, if you head to this location in Pripyat, you can find this. So this is a reference to the one shot, one kill mission from Call of Duty 4, which of course happens right after All Gillied Up. In fact, this is the exact spot that shot was taken from in the game, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, the sniper isn't the super powerful limb-destroying Barrett 50 cal. I suppose you'll take what you can get in a nuclear wasteland. Now, back in 2020, Ubisoft announced a remake of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, and 5 years later, we still don't have it. I mean, to be fair, they have had their hands full with the quadruple A release of Skull and Bones, so we should cut them some slack. Well, if you're hankering for some Sands of Time action, you can always play the original game, which still holds up pretty well. The thing is, I say play the original, but the Sands of Time isn't the original Prince of Persia. The original Prince of Persia was released in 1989. But I have good news. You can actually play the 1989 version of the game inside Sands of Time. If you start a new game and stay on the balcony and then press the left analog stick in and then quickly press X square triangle circle triangle X square circle, this will happen. So you're able to play the very first level of the very first Prince of Persia game in the Sands of Time. That should tide you over until the apparent remake is pooped out by Ubisoft. Right, let's end this video with the Easter egg that inspired this video. Very few games have locations that you can recognise almost immediately, especially if it's just a street. Well, in American Truck Simulator, you can drive down a very familiar looking road. So did you guess what this street is a reference to? Well, if you didn't, this is a reference to Grove Street from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It even features green cars as a reference to the Grove Street colours. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then a like is really appreciated. If you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.